Let's go out to the heartland, Big Ten country. And by the way, you want to know how big this Colorado thing has gotten? The fact that Nebraska, Michigan, two big time brands in college football, get bumped to the 3:30 Eastern time slot on Fox. It shows you how big this Colorado thing has gotten, that they chose Colorado USC. Now, admittedly, Caleb Williams is in that game over Michigan-Nebraska. Anyway, enough about that. Michigan, a 17-point favorite in this game. How about this? The over-under set at 39 points. Insanity. Insanity, I tell you, people. Insanity. Okay, so let's get into the preview. And let me say this. 39 points is the over-under. It's going to be low scoring. I agree with Vegas 1,000% on this. Michigan, we can criticize the early season schedule. Defensively, they have been every bit as good as advertised. Now, look, I understand the schedule. East Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green, Rutgers. Not exactly, what even Colorado has had to deal with early in the season. But at the same time, when you win those 4 games, 30-3, 35-7, 31-6, 31-7, without breaking a sweat, that's still very, very, very impressive from the Michigan perspective. Defense is as good as advertised. What's interesting is the offense has been okay. I wouldn't call it great, though. I wouldn't call it great. J.J. McCarthy, obviously, a few weeks ago, had that 3-touchdown game. Overall, they're moving the ball, but not at the level that they have in the past. 405 yards per game, 61st nationally. That's not very good when you think about the competition. And I do think McCarthy's been a little bit loose with the ball. Not just the 3 interceptions, but there were 2 or 3 throws against Rutgers last week that easily could have picked off that weren't. And I still think with J.J. McCarthy, goes back to last year's college football playoff against TCU. Feels like sometimes he gets too cute, too fun, too this, too that. And I'm just like, I don't know if I like how he operates sometimes. So I'm not sold on J.J. McCarthy. The other thing that's interesting about the Michigan offense, anyone besides me see Jim Harbaugh's comments about the running back room this week? He was basically asked about the running back room. And what he said was, he kind of sees himself as a father figure, and he doesn't want to overuse his running backs. He point blank said, Blake Corum, I told him he should go to the NFL. He decided to come back. Donovan Edwards, who was a 1,000-yard rusher last year, really hasn't gotten going. And so I bring it up because they're going up against a Nebraska defense, which is really good. And I know the last time we saw Nebraska, Jeff Sims was fumbling the ball all over the field and we didn't know what was going on and what the heck is up with that team. But at the same time, this Nebraska defense has been really good all season long. Take out the Colorado game where they kept giving the ball back to Colorado. These are the point totals that they've given up. Let me make sure I have this correct. Nebraska has given up 10 points, 11 points, and 14 points in their 3 games this season. I actually need to double check that. It's not 10. It is, let me correct that there. It is 13, 11, and 14. Okay. So take out the Colorado game. They've given up 13, 11, and 14. And do you know that Nebraska right now has the number 2 rush defense in all of college football? And that was what stood out to me watching that Colorado game a few weeks ago. They are so much more fundamentally sound on defense than they've been. Offensively, don't tell anybody. Be quiet. Shh, little whisper there. You understand with Nebraska, I keep calling them Colorado. They're Nebraska, the Cornhuskers. I don't know if they made a quarterback change. Jeff Sims has been banged up, but they've gone with Heinrich Haarberg over the last 2 games. He has been exactly what Matt Rule needs from that quarterback position. He's averaged about 125 yards rushing in the 2 games, 98 yards 2 weeks ago, over 100 yards, about 150 yards, to be honest, last week. And you add him in with Anthony Grant. That's a really good 1-2 punch. By the way, Anthony Grant, the Nebraska running back, not the former Alabama basketball coach. So when I look at this game, Nebraska's run defense is phenomenal. Jim Harbaugh always plays it close to the vest on the road. And I think Nebraska can score enough to keep this competitive. Now, am I picking Nebraska to win outright? I can't do it. But if you told me this game was 13-10 going into the 4th quarter, I'd absolutely believe it. To me, that under is a little bit too low, but the 17 points I get with Nebraska, that is a bet that I like. That's one of my best bets of the week. Take Nebraska plus 17.